Hiya, my name's Keira Forsythe and today is my arm Stumpy's second birthday. He had his amputation the 9th of March 2019. Since then he's also had a second amputation, October 2020. And in order to celebrate the birth of this beautiful man, I thought I would talk through my amputation stories, because not that the average person doesn't tend to have an amputation story to share. So let's just get into it. So I had CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome, for those who don't know, and after doing every single medical trial going, I decided to have an amputation. This is a big red flag in the CRPS community, and you're basically warned, do not ever speak to a doctor about an amputation, because for most people it spreads or it jumps to another limb, and you can't just keep chopping. There's got to be a limit to it. But I was willing to take the risk, and going into it I think we had a 25% chance of pain reduction, and I was willing to take that risk. So I did. So I went from the hospital I was at to a new one in Preston in September of 2018. So I just turned 21, and I spoke with the surgeon, the consultant, about my quality of life, and they agreed an amputation was the right decision for me. So we booked that in. So fast forward till March 2019. Me and my friends went on a night out and we called it a coming off party for Stumpy, which I loved. And then the 7th of March, me and my mum drove to Preston to have my amputation, but the beds were full, which was devastating because I had hyped myself up for this operation. But my surgeon felt awful because I cried. So he booked my operation in for the 9th. So I walked around Preston in pyjamas because that's all I had with me until the 9th. So the morning of my amputation came. I was so excited. I was strutting round the corridors of that hospital. I had these minging green stockings and a gown on, but I still felt like a baddie. I got a huge arrow drawn on my arm, and they checked about 15 times. This was definitely the arm I wanted off. I said bye to my mum. I thought she was going to cry, but she held it together in front of me, bless her. And I was basically meant to go under local anaesthetic because I wanted to be awake for the whole thing, because how many people can say I saw my arm being amputated? But I chickened out last second because I found out the nerve block I was having was going to be injected into my neck. And I'm no medical expert, but this area seems pretty vital and I didn't want to mess with it. So I went under general anaesthetic, which I do regret just a tiny bit. I went under, woke up 3.5 hours later, and the first thing I asked the nurse, there's a plane going over. That's not what I said to her, but so I woke up after 3.5 hours, and the first thing I asked the nurse, how much weight have I lost? And she was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, how much weight have I lost? Should I have asked for my parents and loved ones? Probably, but my priorities were how much weight have I just lost just before the summer. So eventually my parents came. It was my mum, dad, sister and my sister's boyfriend all came to see me, which was amazing. I entertained them by drinking apple juice. So when I'm on morphine, I crave apple juice and my love for it just goes beyond. So I was sipping it, and apparently I shut my eyes, and I go like after, because I just love it. So hostess with the mostess, even when I'm high on morphine, I'm entertaining the masses. I also managed, when I went to the toilet, because I refused to use a bedpan, I managed to swing my arm because it was still numb from the nerve block and hit off the toilet roll dispenser. So my arm was bleeding a little bit, but we moved. Did I tell anyone? No. And I don't remember an awful lot about that day other than that, really. For me, the first amputation, I went into it in a lot of pain, and I was hoping to come out of it with less pain, and I was really lucky. I woke up in no pain, which is unheard of for CRPS, really, especially in upper body. So I was treated like a queen for my stay. I was there for a week, and my mum, dad, sister and sister's boyfriend came every single day, and some of my other friends came to visit on certain days. I had a matching pyjama set ready to announce Stumpy to the world on Instagram. I had an Olympian come and visit me, which was pretty cool. And I didn't get on with any of my roommates, and they all detested me. But we move. I also watched the Six Nations game because I was not missing Scotland play for an amputation. So that was my first amputation. Stumpy's first year of life commenced, and I loved every second of it. It was one of the best years of my life, and a very emotional year of my life, because we cried when I achieved absolutely anything. And then October of 2020, I had a second amputation, which was called a revision. So after my first amputation, the two bones in my arm, so if you don't know, in your forearm you have two bones, the radius and the ulnar, they were still in there and rounded off at the end, but the podgy bit of Stumpy, which I love so much, was actually meant to attach to the top and sort of didn't, and it meant that it was rubbing on the skin, so I had to go in for a revision. So I went in. I was more nervous for this one than I think I let on to people, because I'd gone from being in no pain now for a year basically to possibly setting off CRPS, having another operation, which for anyone with CRPS or a pain condition will know that risk is a very big risk to take. But I felt like I had to do it, and I also had the news that because of the pandemic my parents wouldn't be able to come and visit me in the hospital, so I had to get a COVID test. I went in by myself, and not having that support network was so daunting. But yeah, I had a 4.5 hour operation, which was bizarre. They basically took the end off the longest bone in my forearm and they turned it, so instead of it being like that, it was taken like that, and then they used metal wires to fuse both the bones together to form like a tabletop, so that it wasn't two pointy things, it was just like one flatter surface. And the operation was a success. This time he stitched on the inside, which I didn't know surgeons could do. But rather than last time where I was in the hospital for a week, this time I wanted out of there. I really didn't get on with my roommates again. I swear I'm a likeable person. So I basically was like ringing my mum. I was saying to the nurses, I want out of here. So I did. I stayed in a local hotel with my mum, and I just didn't have any pain, so it was fine. I again hit my arm off the, was it the toilet roll dispenser again? There was something in the bathroom that I hit my arm off again, and it basically bled this time, and it went through like 4 or 5 layers of bandage and the cast, so I really whacked it. And this time I again told absolutely no one because I didn't want to look like a prat. And yeah, again, a huge success, no pain whatsoever. So this brings us to March 2021, and Stumpy's second birthday, so he's had 2 amputations in 2 years, and he's killed both of them, like nailed it, A-star student. Let's not make it 3 for 3. And I find this day like the best day of my year. I don't care about my actual birthday, I care more about my arm's birthday, which might seem bizarre to most people, and I'm trying not to get emotional filming this, but I can feel myself welling up, which is awful, and it's not like me at all. But the 9th of March 2019 changed my life completely. It opened up everything that I was told I would never be able to do again, all the things that were sort of ruled out for me, and like even going on holidays and stuff with my family we couldn't do. And all of a sudden, from the most mundane task you do in the morning without even thinking about it, that was something that I couldn't do before, or it took me 10-20 minutes to do, and now all of a sudden I was doing them again without thinking about it. And it's just, I look at that day and it's happy tears that are welling up in my eyes at the moment, and I feel like a bit of a melt, really. It's not really that like bad attitude that I like to give off. But for me, that day just changed my life. I loved the whole year following it. I became close with all of my friends and family. We did things that we couldn't do before. I saw the stress like drain from my parents, because every day was like, how's Keira's arm going to be today? Has she slept last night? What medication does she need to take? Is she going to remember the day because she's on that much medication? Is it going to rain today because we can't take Keira outside, or if we do, we've got to cover her with an umbrella, run to the car, park the car here. Like, nothing was just an easy task. Everything was sort of barriers, and we overcame them all, and we had the most positive mindset. But I don't think I realised till I had my arm off how much impact it had on my whole family and friends, which is quite hard. Oh my god. Pull yourself together, which is quite hard really, to think that you had that sort of impact on people, that they put parts of their life on hold for you because of an arm. So I love Stumpy to absolute pieces, and when people say they don't like him, they don't like how he looks or anything like that, I just don't care about those people anymore, because if they see this as just like the end of an arm, they don't understand what I've been through and what it took to get us to here. I've done, oh, my mum's gonna cry watching this. I've literally done about 15 takes just to get to this point without bursting into tears, and like, I'm such a positive person about it, and it is happy tears. But yeah, that day just changed my life, and to think I'm 2 years on now, 2 years with no pain, 2 years of sleeping, it's just something that if you told me 2 years ago that was going to be the outcome, I would never have believed you. So yeah, that's this video. I'll stop waffling on now, and I'll probably go and have a good cry now, maybe hug a pillow. So yeah, that's Stumpy's 2 amputation stories. If people have got ideas for videos or things they would like to know about me, my life, or Stumpy's life, please feel free to put in the comments below. As always, please like and subscribe if you liked this. I'm trying to figure out what sort of angle I go with this channel, so the more feedback I get, the better. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.